The thorn that kept Paul humble. A compelling way to understand Paul's thorn in the flesh is to see it not as a physical ailment, but as a persistent reminder of his past, the memory that he once tried to serve God and instead persecuted Christ. That recollection would function as a continual humbling force. It would not condemn him, but it would prevent self-exaltation, especially after the extraordinary revelations he describes. A brief illustration helps clarify the idea. In Tolkien's The Silmarillion, Finrod Felagund is captured by Sauron and the two engage in a battle of song. Finrod sings of the blessed realm, of light, and of noble things. He holds his ground. But then Sauron shifts. He recalls the kinslaying, when the Noldor slew their own kin to seize ships and pursue Melkor. Finrod had been part of that people. The memory is true. It carries moral weight. The shame breaks his song, and he is defeated. The point is not that the two situations are identical. The point is conceptual. A remembered moral failure can humble a person more deeply than physical weakness. It limits pride. It restrains self-exaltation. It places a ceiling on self-confidence. This is exactly the kind of thing Paul describes. In 2 Corinthians 12:7, Paul says that because of the surpassing greatness of the revelations, a thorn in the flesh was given to him, a messenger of Satan to strike him, so that he would not become conceited. The stated purpose is humility. The thorn functions as a restraint against pride. Many have suggested physical explanations, poor eyesight, illness, chronic pain, but physical weakness does not necessarily humble. People often remain proud despite bodily limitations. The text itself emphasizes repeated striking, something that comes back again and again, not merely a static condition. That language fits better with recurring internal pressure. When we look at Paul's own words about himself, a pattern emerges. He repeatedly returns to his past as a persecutor. He says he is the least of the apostles because he persecuted the church of God. He says he is less than the least of all saints. He calls himself formerly a blasphemer, persecutor, and violent man. He even says, Christ Jesus came into the world to save sinners of whom I am chief. That last statement is often misunderstood. Paul is not claiming that at the moment of writing, he is committing more sins than everyone else. He immediately explains what he means. He had persecuted Christ's people. He had opposed the very one he later proclaimed. His claim is historical and autobiographical. He is chief of sinners in light of what he had done. The Damascus Road intensifies this. The risen Jesus does not say, "Why are you persecuting my followers?" He says, "Why are you persecuting me?" That collapses the distance. Paul did not merely oppose a movement. He opposed the one he now worshipped. That memory would not easily disappear. Paul also ties this directly to humility. Each time he lowers himself, he does so because of his past. Not because of illness, not because of weakness, because he persecuted the church. His humility is memory grounded. This makes the thorn easier to understand. After being caught up to the third heaven, after receiving revelations, something repeatedly presses him back down. Something prevents him from elevating himself. A recurring reminder of his former opposition to Christ would do exactly that. He asks for it to be removed. The answer he receives is not healing, but perspective. My grace is sufficient for you, for power is perfected in weakness. The weakness remains. The grace reframes it. Under this reading, the thorn is not punishment. It is protection. It preserves humility. It keeps Paul from forgetting that he once stood on the wrong side of the very truth he now proclaims. It ensures that his authority never becomes triumphalistic. It grounds his confidence in grace rather than in himself. Seen this way, Paul's humility is not abstract modesty. It is the posture of someone who remembers that he sincerely tried to serve God and instead fought against him. That kind of knowledge changes a person permanently. It restrains pride, deepens compassion, and keeps self-exaltation in check. The thorn, then, may not have been a physical affliction at all. It may have been the enduring memory of his greatest failure, a messenger that returned again and again, reminding him who he had been and keeping him humble as he carried out what he was called to do.